So we are working on things that need to be done today. My first thing is I got up this morning, I kind of put everything where I needed to so I could drive. I know I'm getting low on solar. I find a new spot and set up the equipment. I do have the first layers of a new art that I'm doing, watercolor with built up paper cut sculpture. Like, how do I even explain it? And I can't get the idea out of my head, so as usual, since I can't stop thinking about it, I must execute that idea. Otherwise, I am at what I've found so far to be the cleanest bathroom in town. It's in a store thing, and there isn't a sign that says on the outside that you have to buy things when you use the bathroom, but I'm so weird about that. I'm like, if I'm using someone's bathroom and it's really clean and I like that bathroom, I like to make a purchase, and this place really doesn't have a lot of stuff. I probably will have to get a coffee or something. Oh my gosh. Oh, I did get a walk yesterday and stretched a little bit and did those little squat exercises, so that was good, because the thing about being in the car all the time is you're either sitting or you're laying, and that's just, it starts to make you feel tight and not make you feel well. So I got out and did some exercise. I felt good afterwards, even though I didn't really feel like it was enough exercise. Smell the fresh air though, so that's always nice. See, if I had a larger vehicle, even though this one's been so reliable, so I'm nervous about, like, I love my car. Oh, the standing up, I would have room to do push-ups. I would just have room to work and do all the different types of artwork and things that I do. So I'm still looking. I keep looking. There's a couple things I'm like, okay, I like that. If it's meant to be, the perfect thing will come up. If not, we will just have to see what happens. We're going to be here for a few more nights, though. I really like it here, and see if I can find another really cool spot. We have to set up the solar equipment. Set up the solar, regenerate the battery. Okay, so for a last minute check, I was thinking I'm going to kind of show you how to do this, because a lot of the videos that I looked up did not show me these little details, and it was a big investment for me. I just wish they had showed me kind of how do you hook it up, how easy is it, all that. So I'm actually going to show you. There is a compartment. I actually need to see if I can get it open today, but there is a compartment right here, and you open it up. I have mine right now on its side. You can lay them the other way. They have these awesome wheels you can roll them on. Okay, so this right here is the little place where you can either hook it into your car, which I cannot because my car overheated. I might be able to use the back outlet, but either way it doesn't really slow. But the solar is much faster, and plugging it into a wall outlet, you can do it in an hour and a half. This is the wall outlet one, and they come with it. It came with all of its connections. I actually purchased 2 of the units that were built for it, and you put this end in just like this. The other thing too though is I had to put tape over the ends here because them being in line like this, I did watch some videos, and that makes these hot. So if I don't have solar units plugged into these and were to accidentally touch them, I could get shocked. I don't know how severe it would be, given that this is a really strong unit. So I decided to go ahead and cover it for my own personal safety. And yeah, while it's plugged in with the other units bringing in power, with the solar units bringing power, you don't want to touch them. And I will show you what that looks like here. I have to put down the camera to actually show you, but they plug in the same way. This cable plugs into there, and the other end, there is a small little hole jacket. I'll show you really quickly. My car is so dirty right now. Okay, I put in the foam here and I save it for cushioning for the units. It comes with it. But I'm putting it in because the angle I need. So there's a little hole right here. That's where the other end goes. Don't know how well you can see that. And you can see how easy it is to plug in. So we are basically all hooked up. Did the same thing to this end here. And I'll show you how to check it on your phone, because there is an app for this, for these. Nothing can be crossing over it, not even a wire, not even shade from tree, because they're in line. You lose too much power. The element, here's a benefit to the element right here. Not only do they fit on there perfect, and I can angle them to the sun. If you notice from the back of my car, the sun is a little bit low. So based on the shadow, I angled my car, and then I just try to get as much of them in there. You can put them on the ground. They have really cool, interesting stands. I so far have pulled the most power doing this. And I jack up a little bit of the foam in the back, and I can even put a little bit more foam or clothes back there to even get more angle, and I'll show you in a minute how I determine that. Because this has suicide doors, I shut the front door first and the back door a little bit, and it creates a perfect gap to go right down into the system. So I'm not pinching any wires, I'm not pushing on anything and that. So let's go in here really quickly and I'll show you. I'm so bad about downloads. I'm like, I don't want to download this. I was also able to size based on the size of my car, that because I have the moonroof, I started the solar panels, I don't know, can you see this? At the end of the moonroof here, and it kind of makes them lay down perfect. The other benefit that I find is, especially when it's hot here in the desert, and I noticed this up in Tombstone, I have to listen for the wind though, because I don't. So far they haven't blown off. So far they've proven heavy enough to not blow off. Knock on wood. Do I have wood in here? Here, my hat's kind of straw. So it will create a little bit of shade in the front of the car, but let me show you this. Bluetooth is turned on. There's a little button on your device, on your Anker. This is the Anker 767. And I got this one because I felt like it would be enough for me, and the little power that I do use, that it would be enough for me off-grid. Yes, you can get your own connections and your own solar panels, because I found out that they have limited somehow the input. So if you put it on any regular solar panels, they don't work correctly or something. I don't know if they've fixed that or if that was intentional. Because I'm not a techie, I went and bought 2 of their panels, so my max should be about 400 watts. On the phone here, I have downloaded an app. It's this app right here, A for Anker, and we'll get it to open. And it will take a minute, and then if it's not lit up, see how it's not lit up right there, I just click on it. Okay, so my Bluetooth is on. So right now, it is showing I was at like 27, so it's powering up from 28. And it's showing how much input's coming in. Right now we're only getting 302, but what I really love about this is up here at the very top, and you can't really see it very well, it actually will tell me how many hours I have remaining in a charge. Any clouds in the sky, I realized that was relatively easy to, as long as it will be in that position. We're gonna see if we can get a little bit more though. I'm gonna put a little bit more foam behind them. This says 5 hours now, and it is almost 12. It's like 11:30, so yeah, by the time it's 5 o'clock at night, we are going to start losing light. It depends on whether or not any clouds come in. We should be fully charged again. So right now, again, we're at 302 watts, and it seems to be really holding strong there. So let me mess with the, let me see if I can get a couple more wattages out of it. So hold on a second. So I was only able to gain like 3 or 4 more watts. So I went ahead and took the pillows back out. I did keep the foam cushions in the back. The other option that I do have is to actually put them on the ground and use the little stands and figure out the exact pitch to the sun to get 4 full 100. If we can get a 4 full 100, what is in my hat? But I think we're good with pulling in the, I think we're good, like with pulling in the 308 now it says. So it might go up a little bit more, 309. As the angle of the sun changes and gets on more high up on top of the vehicle. And that's something where if they were at the ground on the angle, even if I got a little bit more power as that sun continued to creep up, I'd have to keep lowering them. So for some reason, and it being the way it is on the roof of the car, I really like this. Because by the time, you know, I get on the ground and adjust it, by the time it's like 1 or 2, it's just going to be where I have to lay them flat anyway, I think. But we're going to do this. I'm going to keep watching the shadows so I know If I need to change my angle, that's happened before, like where I just have to adjust my car. So I just do it very carefully and slowly. And yeah, that's the setup of the Anker at 767. It can go up to 5 panels. That would be a lot of wattage coming in, and of course you'd be juicing a lot faster than 4 hours. That one day, even if there was a few clouds sneaking in here and there, but we were getting really close to 400, and that I was very happy with that. And it is perfectly clear skies here, so I'm wondering if it is mostly the angle. Like if you stand outside, you can see where your shadow is going. You're like, okay, there's the angle. And I might change that a little bit, but I'm pretty happy. I'll keep checking our thing. This would be a legitimate review. I've had it for a while, but I didn't have it where I was like using it all the time. And for now, 4 weeks or so traveling, so 2 weeks the last trip, go back to Nevada. And then for almost another 2 weeks now, I've been out for another 2 weeks with you. I really am happy with them. Today I was like, oh, I'm getting down lower than 30%. And then I was kind of like, will tomorrow be sunny? So you have to think a little bit more ahead. We will charge up. So I'm very happy with this unit. Again, I don't really have other units to compare it to. I watched a lot of solar videos. There's one guy, even if you put in Anker 767 review, you should come up with the kid that does, I call him a kid because he looks so young, that does all sorts of solar setups. That's just his thing. He's just, when I watch a video, I have to watch it over and over again because he's talking French to me. He's very good at explaining like even the cool things he thought about the 767 when he first got it versus his later on review about what he feels like someone would need off-grid, and that he didn't think that it would do that. For me, it's been power enough and small enough to fit in the car, but big enough to be like if I needed to run a power tool, I can, which made me really happy, like because of eventually I want to be off grid, but I don't have a bunch of large things or equipment like he does, or I don't plan on having large refrigerators really, or only thing that I notice it takes a lot of power that I will need additional solar panels for is I distill my own water. So that's the only thing that I notice that on a full battery, not hooked up to anything, my distiller will suck it out at about half a gallon or drain all the power if no power is coming in at about half a gallon. But I've also noticed that what wattage my distiller works at, if I had the panels up, I would probably get not only a full distill, but I could just leave the panels up and it would slowly charge for a little bit for that evening. So I think it'll work. It's a matter of, but again, I'm not maxed out. So that's the thing to remember. I'm not maxed out on the input on this thing. I only bought 2 little 200 panels. Something to think about. I hope this video was useful because I noticed when I was watching a lot of the videos, they did a lot of the tests, dragging across the road, which the tires are awesome. I kind of have a tendency to baby it because I don't like the jiggly, I've dragged it across some things and I don't like to shake up the unit. I just baby things. They're very solid tires and it seems like a very solid unit, and again I don't really have it to compare it to, but it's a perfect size for carrying. It's got handles, it's got little, like I said, automatic things in the back where you just unvelcro them and you can open it up and you can change the angle, and there's actually different angles and diagrams on the stands to show you what angle you could have it at. But I'm really, really happy with it so far. I do want to tell you this. When my outlet was overheating on my car, and I knew it hadn't, I kind of just thought it was normal, because again, I'm not a techie. This wasn't the solar unit. I was actually plugging in my phones. And I've always noticed when I went to pull the phone charge out how hot it was. And I was like, In my head, I'm old enough that I'm so old that those used to be a combination of a cigarette lighter and power outlet. So for some reason to me that didn't seem like a big deal. And the first time I plugged in my Anker, I noticed the outlet was running hot, but I never had it plugged in for so long and it was just bothering me. And then this last time I smelled something bad. And you know how when you're driving, you don't know if it's the semis that are passing you or whatever, and I'm like, that smells like burning rubber. My Anker was clicking. So, and I noticed what it appeared to be doing to me was it was turning off my, and again, this is while I'm driving, so I'm trying to be very careful. So while I'm driving, then I can hear this thing click, and I'm like, why is it clicking? And I'd kind of look over, and it was turning off and then back on. And I started becoming uncomfortable with that, with the smell. I was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna unplug this. So when I went to unplug it, it was so hot. And why I think this is a benefit is because what I think the Anker was doing was detecting the heat and turning it off. I am so glad it was doing that, or I could have been driving down the road and had my dash burst into flames. And why I say that is when I realized it has to be something on here and I unplugged it and I smelt the end, it was that smell. It smelled like rubbery smoke. It was really strong. And I'm like, ooh, that is not good. And it was really flexible, hot, really hot, and like it was about to burn the plastic. Anyway, I hung that up. It is the outlet in my car, because after I finally stopped and I was like, what is going on here? And I smelled the end of my thing. It didn't smell anymore, and it was normal. I'm like, And then I looked into my outlet, and there was a little bit of a rust deterioration, and it was still hot to the touch. And if I got close to it, I could still smell it. I literally thought, oh my gosh, is there a fire in my dash? Because I could still smell it from the car. The same trip where I got ran off the road by a semi-driver and almost died twice. I think I have Anker to thank for whatever this design is that detected something was wrong and kept turning itself off. Who knows what would have happened if it got hot enough to, because like I said, it smelled like smoke and it was my car. It's not the Anker. And it was definitely, so I went in there and I was like, what is that stuff? And it was like rust and stuff. So that has to be looked at. I'm not using that outlet for anything now, because I know it always overheated, not with the Anker, but with everything. And I just lucked out that the Anker knew to turn off. So that's a really long, unnecessary description of what just occurred, but I'll try to cut it down to just the important stuff, which is I love this design. I don't know how these techies do it, and I kind of feel like I lucked out in getting the Anker, that I didn't end up with my dash on fire because of the problem with my outlet that I didn't really realize was a problem like I should have, but I guess I just wasn't. Like I said, I'm stuck in the old world where that was a lighter combo outlet, and I thought that heat was normal. Things to do, and I think we're going to camp for a couple nights here. I like it out here. The air is really fresh. The new place that I parked at, we have, I believe, because there's coyote warning signs, more likely chance. And if we do get a coyote song tonight, I'll try to record it because it's so amazing. All right.